Hi guys, this video is going to be on my 100-mile ride to give some type of assessment of the Lectric XP 750 high step. During this ride, I will be recording with my Insta360 One 2X camera, and also I've got a GoPro on my helmet. Hopefully I can get enough shots to give a pretty concise analysis or view of what's happening while I'm riding the bike. Right now I'm at 92 miles on it, so I plan on riding about 12 miles on this little video, so I'll trip that 100 during today's ride. It's a pretty day in North Carolina. It's probably 75 to 80 degrees, low humidity, so ideal day for riding my bike. First of all, I'm going to turn my strobes on. I've got two strobes on the front here. And I have two strobes on the rear. And there's nothing that beats being visible. So we're going to start off at 92 miles. And right now I've got 53.1 volts. So it's not fully charged, but it's close to fully charged. I'm going to keep it in the current mode. This is, to me, provide you the best information as far as range goes. And I'll go over that later. Okay, let me get my pedal down over here. And I'll put it in one. We'll ease off. Okay, new for people that have not seen any of my videos, I did a number of videos on the XP and on my Palermo. I've owned a total of 5 e-bikes. I've owned 3 XPs, 1 Palermo, and this Xpress. So probably have a total mileage on e-bikes close to 1,000 miles since 2019. Purchased my first XP. Right now I'm in PAS 1, going about 10 miles an hour. Not sure how well you'll be able to see my display. This is not the brightest display there is for e-bikes. It's fine for me to see, but I've noticed in recording it is not that bright. And I've got a train at my normal crossing up here, which I'm going to avoid for this, so I could probably go up here and turn around. Let me go to PAS 2. Now I'm in PAS 2, going about 13.6. One thing that I've noticed about this Xpress is that the shifters are not the best in the world. They're the same ones that were on the XP, so I'm used to them. But normally when I'm downshifting right now, I'm getting a little chatter out of my derailleur. It's not quite aligned. Haven't yet tried to adjust that out. May be able to. On the upshift, it seems to be okay. So what I do is I usually, if I want to be like, let's say 4th gear, I'll drop down to, and I'm in 5th and want to go to 4th, I'll drop down into 3rd and then go back up to 4th. I may end up upgrading my shifter if I can't get this glitch out, if I can't make an adjustment and get rid of that downshifting problem. I've done 4 upgrades on this bike since I bought it. I did those right off the bat because I knew from experience that I would want these items. So I went with a Suntour seat post, and I've got a bike roof seat on it right now. My preference is a Cloud 9, but I've got my Cloud 9 on my other bike, and right now I will use this bike roof till either buy a Cloud 9 or it wears out. But anyway, the other 2 things are handlebar. I changed out my handlebar and my handlebar stem, and I'll leave links to these upgrades below. So, but the handlebars have a I forget, it's around a 3.5 to 5.5. I can't remember. A lift on the bars, which is what I wanted. I wanted a little lift on the bar because what you can do with that, you can utilize that to change the height of the handlebar up or down. And also I've got and I think it's a 380-degree stem in here. Maybe a 180. It may be a 160, I'm not real sure. But anyway, it gives me a wide range of movement, from a forward movement to an upright, which is basically what I've got right now, upright, to even swinging it back toward the right of me. Okay, I'm going downhill. I live in eastern North Carolina, so we don't have many hills at all here. It's relatively flat, not as flat as the coast, but still it's relatively flat around here. You've got a few hills, but not many. Few hills and far between. Okay, I'm gonna go up to PAS 3. All right, I bumped it up to 3. I found out that in PAS mode 2 and 3 is good for neighborhood riding like I'm doing now in the neighborhood. Because usually when I ride through a neighborhood like this, I try to keep my speed about maybe 15, 16 miles an hour tops. Go up a gear. I'm going about 17.2, 17.3 now. Got a slight downhill and I'm coming to, so I'll just coast down it. I'll be doing another video comparing my Palerna folding bike, 20-inch fat tire folding bike, with this one. To give you some idea, the Palerna's very similar to an XP, except it's got a lot of the refinements to it. It's a lot more comfortable bike to ride, mainly because it's full suspension, so it's real smooth to ride. Trying to put some miles on this bike so when I get back on my Palerna, I can have a better feel. Of course, my initial take on it was it was sorely disappointed that it wasn't more comfortable than it was, because I was so used to my Palerna. But once I changed the handlebars out and got them set up properly, that helped a lot. I like to ride in an upright position. Keeps the weight off of my palms of my hand, because I do have a little bit of a problem with my hands going numb on me. I worked those all out on my XP and my Palerna because I had fully adjustable handlebars. But this setup that I've got here, I'm liking. It's not fully adjustable, but it's got the main adjustments in it, which lets you go back and forth and up and down. And it's got a good variance in those settings too. So you can go way forward, way back, way up, way down. So it gives me a wide range to adjust my handlebars. I'm coming up on a thoroughfare, so I'm going to put it up into 5 just so I can keep my speed up a little bit to kind of compensate for the traffic. Okay, good acceleration. This bike has real good acceleration. Definitely can feel a difference in the acceleration. And you might say, well, that's because it's got a bigger motor. But really the main reason is because it has a 24 amp controller. People don't realize that controller is really the heart of the performance of an e-bike. And compared to an 18 amp in the XP and an 18 amp in my Palerno, this is a big jump. Gets a little warm out here when I start, no wind on me. It's probably close to 80 degrees, finally. Okay, I'm gonna drop it back down. I'm gonna go back down to PAS3. PAS3, this is fairly level I'm on right now. And at 17.3, the current level looks like it probably average out at about 5 amps. Okay, I don't know whether you can hear it or not, but I was a little disappointed in the sound of the motor. This is supposed to be a super quiet motor, but to be quite honest, I don't believe it is as quiet as the one on my Palerna. My Palerna was super quiet when I first got it, and after I put several hundred miles on it, it started picking up a little whine, but I still don't believe it's as loud as this motor. One of the first things I did when I bought my first e-bike, my XP, was I changed out to a road tire and got rid of those knobbies. I don't like knobbies. I don't go off-road. May hit a dirt trail now and then, but 99% of my biking is on hard surfaces, so knobbies are really not necessary, and they've got several drawbacks. They're noisy. They create more friction, which hinders the performance slightly. They won't coast as far. I like these tires so far that come on this Xpress. They're quiet. They're slightly noisier than the road tires that I have on my Palerna, but it's such a slight difference. I wouldn't really knock the difference. I hear a little bit of roll out of these tire tread, but not much. I like the brakes. These hydraulic brakes seem to work fine on this bike. The Palerna has fully hydraulic brakes on it, similar to the ones that's on this bike. My XP, one of the things I did with it was I changed to hydraulic calipers, which were better than the mechanical calipers, but still wasn't quite as good as fully hydraulic. This route that I'm on is one that it's my regular route. I'm not going to go out in the country. About 2.5 miles of this route is on a 2-lane country road, which has very little traffic. But for today, I'm not going to go quite that far. Cut my ride a little short. Okay, I'm going to bump it up to 4. I'm doing a decent 17.5 on the stretch. Looking at the flag over there, I've got a slight tailwind, not much wind today. Okay, that 4 jumped me up to about 20 miles an hour. I'm in 6th gear. I'm up to 21, going slightly uphill, coming to the crest. Now I'm going to be going slightly downhill, very slightly. Now note if I kick it up a gear, my speed will probably increase. So I went to 7th because I'm trying to maintain about the same cadence, which means I'm putting more of me into the equation. And right now it's up to 23.5, thereabouts. Okay, this is my turnaround. Okay, yeah, I had a little bit of a tailwind because I feel the wind now and I can see the flag moving. Sounds like I'm getting a little bit of chain chatter here, so my upper limit may need to be adjusted a little bit on my derailleur. They're basically, when you adjust a derailleur, there are basically three things that you need to be aware of. You've got two stops. You've got a low gear stop and you've got a high gear stop. And what they're for is to limit the range of your derailleur so that the derailleur won't go too far to the left or too far to the right, which would cause a chain to derail. But you want to make sure that you haven't got those too tight, as they won't let you seat into the gear properly. And then the other adjustments is either right or left. You tweak the derailleur to move a little bit more to the right or a little bit more to the left to try to center the chain on the gear. There are three basic adjustments. A little bit of my background in my earlier years. I'm 77 right now, so I'm at my golden years. But anyway, when I did most of my cycling was from my early 30s to my early 40s. And that cycling consisted of a lot of cross-country cycling, meaning, when I say cross-country, meaning on the highway, touring type travel. Also, in one club, I was in a racing team. I was 32 when I went in to a racing team, and I was the old man, the old slow man on the racing team. But I had a lot of fun. But I got out of cycling for a number of years and got back into, I did a little bit during my 40s and 50s, and even a little bit in my 60s. But when you don't do it on a regular basis, it's a tall hill to climb trying to get back into it. And the older you get, the harder that climb is. So when e-bikes came out, I decided that I'm going to give that a try. Maybe that'll give me that edge again to enjoy cycling. And it did. I can cycle at what level of exertion that I want to. And traveling right now, I'm doing about 19. Used to in my younger days, when I go on a train ride, it would usually be between 18 and 20 miles an hour. And I can do that easily on this e-bike. Okay, I'm going on this is one of the hills around where I live, if you can call it that. It's really not a hill, it's a valley, because it goes down to a creek bed and then it goes back up. So I'm going downhill right now, go up a gear. All right, I'm on the upside of coming out of the valley, so I go down. I can tell a big difference in going up and down hills with this bike over the XP and the Palermo. But then again, it goes right back to your controller. Most people don't realize that controller pretty much dictates your performance. You've got a 500 watt motor versus a 700 watt. There's not going to be that much difference if they both have the same size controller. They're going to be pretty equal. The big difference is that the 500 is not rated or designed to carry the higher currents as the 750s are. So the 750s, you can go at a higher pace of speed. You need to be aware too, if this is the first time that you've got road tires with very, very little tread on them, tread depth, that watch out when you go over sand, pine straw, things like that, and you're going, especially if you're turning, because you can slide on those. They will slide. It was real bad on my fat tires, my 4.5 inch tires, the 4 1/4, whatever, and you can really feel them slide. Could cause for an accident. It might not be good timing. We're going by a school up here, and it looks like they're getting ready to get out. Plus the traffic is rather heavy. I won't stay on this little stretch about a half a mile if I can find me an opening. Okay, and here we come up onto the school. Alright, probably wasn't the best idea in the world to go this way, but I'm already committed. Bad timing. I think I might turn around. I'm going to turn around and go back where I came from. A little stretch of road that I was going to go down on is just going to be too much traffic on it. I'm going to go back the way I came. Won't be that much school traffic. Trying to get across this next road can be a little tricky. Okay, I'm going to get off my bike and I'm going to walk this crosswalk. Okay. And I'm back on get off of this stretch of road. Okay, I'm back where I started from. Okay, we go back this way, same way we came. Only problem with that is I've got another school that I've got to go by, but I think I can get by it with less confusion, hopefully, anyway. Okay, I'm going to cut through here, and I hit a little stretch of dirt road. Since I haven't had this on a dirt road yet, this will be the first time. This particular road has got a lot of sand on this particular dirt road, so I'm going to stop up here and check, make sure my GoPro is still functioning. Yep, see that little red light blinking? Still function. I hear I've got a dash cam hooked up to this bike, but it seems to be having a problem. Maybe on its last leg. It's an old one. It was a brick in a box for a long time, and I pulled it out, decided I'd put it on my e-bike just in case. This one is out and not working. I am going to buy me another cheap one, just the same one probably, since it works so well on a bike. But that's what it's kicking in and out, and I'm getting a little ding dong. Okay, I'm coming up on the dirt road, and this comes out by a Christian Academy school. A little hill here. Okay, not too bad. All right, I'm going to go down a little bit. Go down to maybe 2. Gravel and sand on this road. It seems to be handling this dirt road fine, and this is probably as rough as I want to do an off hard surface type biking. Suspensions, yeah, fairly comfortable. I don't feel any big jaws. Don't have a fundus yet, so I'm not going to run through that mud hole. My fundus on back order. I'll probably sling a little mud there. I don't have the right of way up here. Just have to watch these parents coming out of the academy. Make sure they see me and that they're paying attention, which is 2 different things. You want to make sure that people see you, number 1, and number 2, they're paying attention. Because some people will look right at you or look through you, and they just not paying attention to what's happening. Go around these cars. And we're off to the races. I'll bump it up a little bit so I won't hold up the traffic too much. Yeah, I noticed that I just dropped a bar. See what my voltage is. Now voltage looks like it's about 49. Bad time of the day to be out riding. I usually don't come out this early. Usually it's around 4 o'clock before I come out. I'm going out to eat tonight, so I have a little earlier than normal. Get back in the residential area so I can carry on more of a conversation and don't have to concentrate on my environment as much. Okay, now I'm back in the residential area. Gear it on down. Yeah, shift my gears down. See how it's clattering? It kind of straightened itself out. Well, it is at this point during the ride that the external microphone battery died. So for the rest of the ride, the audio is from the internal microphone of the GoPro. Sorry for the poor sound quality. What are my impressions thus far? Well, I really don't have anything to compare it to except for my fold-up fat tire, 20-inch fat tire mics. I'd say this bike is definitely comfortable. It's a comfortable bike. Complaints, I like the traditional bike a little bit better than the fold-up. Thought I'd be using the fold-up, but it's something that you really got to get thought into it. If you're not going to use that fold-up feature, I would not get a 4-inch fold-up bike. You can get that same style bike with a solid frame, which cuts down on the weight. I would go with that if I'm just for that type of bike, as opposed to a fold-up. Fold-up, you're going to pick up 5 to 10 pounds. See how many miles I've gone thus far today. 105 miles. I'm going to open my 100-mile one. On your left, it is definitely worth the money. If you're looking for a more conventional bike, something that the battery does give out, that is reasonably designed to ride without battery power, where you're not going to be a speed demon. You can leisurely pedal back home. Hopefully it's not too far. Still going to be a struggle to climb hills because of the weight. But other than that, it's a lot easier to pedal this bike without electric system than it is XP or my firm. They really struggle with no power. It's hard to maintain about 16 miles an hour for any length time. When you're going up a hill, it's really a struggle. I haven't used the cruise control much in this video. I'll have another video that leans more toward cruise control, because to me that's the type of riding I do that's kind of a must-have, especially when you get out in the country, you're on back roads, don't have to go. That cruise control nice feature, somewhat like a car. You can put it in cruise control, pick your speed, and you can still pedal. It's just the difference is that the harder you pedal, the less amperage the motor has to put out. Consequently, you can go for a longer distance pedal while you're in cruise control. Now, of course, if you don't pedal, draining your battery at the most highest level of drainage by not pedaling. The average person, I think, especially in my age range, be lucky to put out for any length of time more than about 1.5 amps, maybe 2 amps. Probably most people are going to put out maybe 1 amp. Compared to a young jock out there, conditioned for riding, 20 to 25 M5 bike. It's a big difference. But if you're not going to hold the bike up, you're torn between an Xpress, Xped, or any folding bike, I would go with the Xpress. Just bear in mind, whatever you buy, you're going to have to adjust it to your fit, your comfort, and your style of ride. Okay, well, I'm going to hit on in now. I think I'll go into more depth later on as to the bike. I am waiting for my funders to come in. I've had the bike for over a month now and still don't have a funder, so I can't go running through any mud holes, or at least I don't want to. But I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you got a little bit out of it, and I will be making some more videos on this bike, and I will be comparing it head to head against my Palermo, so you can kind of get some feel. Those bikes, I paid about the same for the Palermo. Bought it on sale when it first came out. It's an M5. Paid about the same as I did on this bike. The Palermo has some plus features that this one doesn't have, and this one has some plus features that the Palermo doesn't have. So go through all of those, so hopefully somebody can make a decision on which bike they want. The Palermo, like I say, is very close to the XP, just a little bit butter bike. When I say butter, I mean, maybe I should change that. I've got 4,000 miles on it, have had very little problems with it. I made a lot of changes to the bike, a lot of upgrades, gone through a lot of tires, gone through a lot of brakes. But comparing it to my XP, they're basically the same size, very similar frame design, with the exception that the Palermo has full suspension. It's not a hardtail, it's got rear suspension. So it makes for a little softer ride. The motors, even though the Palermo is rated at 750, both it and my XP had 18 amp controllers. So I think the performance was about identical on those two bikes. Both of them will, in class 3 will peak out at 28 miles an hour. Of course, you can go fast if you're going downhill. But this bike, it planes out at 28 miles an hour, pretty close. That should be where the controller shuts down. Now, you'll have people that go faster than that, but you put a strong ride on this thing, he can go right past that 28 and keep putting his human power into it and get it on up 30, 31, 32. So don't believe everything you see on videos. The bike itself, really the way to rate it is to not put very little human power in it. Get on a straight road, level road, put just enough power in it to get it up to where it maxes out. You can pretty much tell when a bike maxes out. You feel that drop in a system. So anyway, I'm glad that y'all watched the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, y'all have a nice day.